Yay, you got a new lead. New leads are great. That means new business. That means a new client is going to be the best client ever. Okay, well, it'll be a client, and new clients are good, right? Because you're trying to grow your firm and you need more clients, and then you can hire and then you can scale, and it's all going to be great. So let's get those leads and let's get those clients. And then the lead turns into a client, and you turn them around and you send the proposal and they say yes, and you start working with them. And then a few months or a few years or however long later, you discover you sort of need to condo out your client list, and this one doesn't spark joy at all. Matter of fact, it's a complete disaster, and life is too short to work with clients who are difficult, frustrating, don't do what you say, don't value your work, don't pay the money. And here's the thing. This is prime opportunity for us to blame the client, the person. Say, well, it's their fault. They're cheap. They just don't value. We've tried everything. We've been so nice. We've bent over backwards. Well, that might be part of the problem, but that's another story about boundaries. But what you're doing with pre-qualifying is setting those boundaries right from the beginning so that you can determine the qualities and values this person has, or these people. Remember, you don't work with a company. A company doesn't send you emails and call you and text you late at night and ask for things and meet with you. People do, human people. So what qualities and values does this person or these people have which either fit with what you want in your firm or don't? And it's your call, and it's your responsibility to set up your processes ahead of time so that you can make that determination as best it is possible. There are the rare exceptions where no matter what you do, either the person changes, or there were things that you didn't notice back then, or your company just changes and you change. The company I run is miles different than it was 9 years ago when I set it up, and we've learned a lot along the way. And this is the thing. Every client that doesn't work out, every prospect that seems to be the best ever and then never signs up, or signs up and then you have to sack them very quickly or they leave, every single one of those is not something to beat yourself up about. This is a gift. This is an opportunity to say, okay, what was it exactly that went wrong? And it's never one thing. You're looking for patterns so that you can find those out as soon as possible at the beginning and not have those patterns build into a problem client. So what you want to do with your pre-qualifying is first identify the qualities that you want and the company values that you want them to live up to. And then everything within your process is crafted to help you determine if they meet those qualities and if they live up to those values. So if one of your values is integrity, you don't say, do you have integrity? One of our pillars is creativity. Well, we don't say, are you creative? A lot of accountants actually go, actually, no, accountants aren't creative. I don't have a creative bone in my body. They are actually creative. I believe accountants are creative. But the way we can tell that is by the things that they try and the things that they do and the experiments that they have and the things that they're involved in separately. One of the things that we ask in our diagnostic is just tell us something about you as a human. We like to get to know our clients as humans. And if what somebody puts into that box is, oh, I own X number of businesses and I've been going for this long and we make this much money, that tells us a little something. It's not a full strike off, but what you're looking for is little pieces that add up to give you a pattern. So some of the things you want to include within your pre-qualifying, it might be a questionnaire, might be a video, it might be a form, it might be a longer form, might be a discovery call, might be a deep dive call. In a sense, the format doesn't matter as much as what is it that you're trying to find out. That's the key. So for the qualities that you want your clients to have, one of the best ways to determine this is to look in two places. One, the current clients you have that you wish you could clone. I love this client so much. If we had 10 of these or 100 of these or 1,000 of these, life would be so easy, full of joy. Then, secondly, look at the clients that didn't work out, the ones that were a disaster or a fail or a frustration or a problem. And instead of putting the blame on them, say, listen, they are where they are. I'm going to take responsibility for what either we missed or what we let go, what we allowed to happen, the behaviors that they exhibited, which we just paid no attention to or essentially said we're okay. And that actually is going to be the place that gifts you the most important information. So instead of beating yourself up and saying, oh, yeah, I wish I'd known, it would seem like I would know, why didn't I learn? The reason is you've been probably going on gut feel. So you're kind of going, do I like them? Do I not like them? And this goes way deeper than that. You cannot instantly tell what somebody's like without looking at various aspects of their person and lots of different ways to help figure that out. So one of the things that you can do is a small exercise as part of the longer article I'm writing on this, but the small exercise you can do is look at the situations with clients where it's been a big fail and it's been a disaster and you never want a client like that again as far as you can help it. Look at the little small things that were done, the behaviors, the actions that were not okay. And then here's a very simple structure you can follow. They did this thing. It was frustrating to us because, felt like this. It meant that, these were the results. This is not okay for us because, this is how it prevents you helping them. This is not okay for them because these are the consequences that they would go through. And their actions set the tone for, these are the things that would happen if we carried on and we made decisions based on this. You can do that for one small thing or for 10 or 12 small things. You can say, oh, they wouldn't sign this paper, they didn't get back to us, or they sent 52 WhatsApp messages in a day, or they did this or they did that. And each one on themselves, if it was an amazing client, it wouldn't trouble you. But with this client, it all piled up and it became a pattern. And what you do with each of those is you go through it and say, this is what they did. This is why it was frustrating. This is what it means. This is the consequence for us and for them. And if we allow that sort of thing, then it's not going to be okay and we're not going to have the best kind of client. So say, for example, you have a prospect who comes to you and asks for a proposal and you send it and then they never reply and they never reply and they never reply. We've all had this happen. And then all of a sudden, months later, they message you or text you at 11 o'clock at night and go, hey, I'm ready to get started. Can we start tomorrow? And instead of you saying, actually, we're pretty full up right now. We're actually the earliest we could start you is next month, but we could put things in process. You said, sure, absolutely. Let's start you straight away. So they had an unhealthy behavior, but you allowed it to happen. This is what you're doing with your pre-qualifying process. You're saying, what are those behaviors that we want to protect ourselves against? And what kind of questions can we ask? What kind of things can we have them do? Remember, show, don't tell. Don't make the client tell you that they will respond or they will do what you say or value your services. Make them show it. Have them fill in a form. Have them submit a video. Have them do something by a certain deadline. Your accountants, you're going to have them fit to deadlines all the times. Whatever qualities and behaviors you want them to follow, set up your pre-qualifying to help you determine whether there's a pattern of non-behavior and non-compliance, if we can say it that way, and whether they fit your values. You know, some of PS values are positive, honest, transparent. We can tell very quickly from all the various things that people do whether they are fitting into those values or not. So qualities and values, there's a load of other things that you can over time add into your pre-qualifying process. As I say, there's a lot of formats that you can use, questionnaires, videos, web pages. But the key is, instead of just asking how big is your company, how much sales do you have, how many team members do you have, back it up to things that will help you determine qualities and values, and then you will be far more likely to tell whether they're going to be an amazing client or a client you're going to have to get rid of later, and you can cut it off at the pass and not have that problem anymore.